Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. I hope you're doing well. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited to be able to hold this book without any bookmark in between. I started this book in January. It is April. If you've been here for a while, you know that I'm not the fastest reader. So a book that's nearly 700 pages is clearly going to take me longer than the typical around 300 page book. Reading this book, The Will of the Many by James Islington, no, I'm saying that wrong, I'm sorry, was definitely a stepping stone on my reading journey because I was quite intimidated by the length of it, but after completing it and putting it on my shelf, it just feels so rewarding. Oh, that's pretty much what we're doing in this video. Talking about it. Wow. It was a solid, enjoyable read. A reason why I was able to finish it is because the book was enjoyable. It wasn't really a time where I would dread having to pick it up. And by the later half, I was burning through it. The story is about Viz, formerly Diego, who was once the prince of a kingdom named Sus, which was conquered by the Cantonian Republic. He manages to escape and create a new identity. Flash forward, he's an orphan doing what he can to survive and get coin until he is adopted by Olkeister, or Ulcester. I'm gonna say Olkeister. A lot of these names I'm probably gonna pronounce incorrectly. Olkeister gives him the task to infiltrate this elite school, climb up each class, each rank, and investigate the mysterious suicide of Olkeister's brother, Karor. Saror? This only scratches the surface of the story, but that's the meat and potatoes of it. The story itself is great. There's different political factions, classes, organizations, locations, will-based. Will is like a power source that comes from an individual. Will-based technology and mechanics. It did take me a while to understand a lot of these concepts, but once I was into it, I was into it. I love the dynamics between the characters, and I love the characters in general. It took a while for me to grow to like Viz. At first, I didn't particularly enjoy how overpowered he seemed. The fact that he was just good at everything. But on the other hand, he was a prince when he was younger, and he was taught by prestigious teachers. And initially, I felt as though his personality was lacking. But granted, all that he's been through, it makes sense for him to be more focused on his objectives and naturally stay locked in. And there are times when we see cracks in his composure. And throughout the book, I enjoyed reading it from his point of view, but that's mainly because I just enjoy first-person books. In terms of supporting characters, there was plenty of them. What gripped me the most about the character dynamics was the back and forth between thinking a relationship is going to be genuine, but then figuring out that it is based on self-interest. The best example of this would be between Viz and Olkeister. I was thinking there was going to be a good progression of son, foster dad, but once Viz finds this labyrinth that could have him figure out what happened to Olkeister's brother, but the risk is that the labyrinth could kill him, Olkeister's like, you gotta do what you gotta do, unless you want to be a sapper, just like a prisoner. Another example of crazy character progression is between him and the love interest, Amissa. That was crazy, what happened. I'm not, like, obviously this is kind of like a spoiler review, but like I'm not gonna go like too deep into the spoilers. A very unpredictable character progression as well was between Viz and Aqua? Aquea? Sorry, them going from strangers to classmates to having tension between them to becoming good friends. Their bond was definitely a roller coaster. And the whole dynamic between Viz and Relucia, I could go on and on. But the point is, I was very emotionally invested in these characters. The ending was insane. It was bonkers. Now, this is definitely spoilers, but I have to talk about it. I was wondering towards the end of the book, what happened at the end of the labyrinth? What happened? So I was so confused by the end of it, but getting the answers the way that we did was wild. I don't want to go too much into it, but it was wild. If you read it, if you know, you know. If you know, you know. So I'm definitely excited for book 2. I don't know when I'm going to get to book 2, but I know it's going to be a good time when I do get to it. Lovely writing, very intricate details into this. Like, you're really pulled into a whole different world. And although I enjoyed this book, I am glad to be done with it so I can start reading other books. The book I'm currently reading now is James. I'm reading it on audiobook, which was a great choice because I love the narration. I will update y'all on this once I'm done. So far, I'm enjoying it. In a little bonus segment, because, we talk about records here. This is the record I most recently listened to. This is definitely a good one in terms of listening to scores and film music. I love listening to scores. I love listening to film music. So this is beautiful, beautiful strings and the instruments that accompany those strings. Sequences of scores from 1951 to 1958 by Alex North. Great record. I just want to talk about that book real quick. If you made it this far, thank you so much. Make sure to check out the Substack where I upload my photography. I hope y'all have a great rest of your day, night, evening, whatever. Peace.